And there were as many cars on both sides on the rear. The A-track, cooperative handling intersections. During defining the scenarios, we also try to be semi-realistic on how can we run it on the road. So if we have an A-track, we can request the vehicle to start moving faster, and then it will, if it runs sufficiently fast, it will have to cross with the other vehicles. Here it waits and passes on the rear, and in the next move it will pass in between the vehicles where they create a gap. But immediately what you see, and that's what the demonstration or the simulation already learned us, is that the timing is very critical. If you only have 4 vehicles at the crossing, you need to have the vehicles at the same time at the crossing, otherwise things go wrong. So the timing is in this scenario a very difficult one for the challenge. Judging needs to be fair, and we need to judge the contribution to cooperative driving. And it needs to be a traceable performance of the platoon and the vehicle, so of the individual teams. And overall, things must be safe, public, organization, infrastructure, and everything. And in the end, also even for the equipment. The judging needs to be objective for the technical aspects. We'll have subjective judging for the human factor aspects. And there needs to be an overall formula to calculate the team / individual car performance. Where are we going to judge on the cooperativeness of the vehicles? Is on platoon string stability, how well contributes a vehicle to the string stability, and optimize the distance between the vehicles depending on the speed of the vehicle. And the information contribution to their colleague vehicles in the platoon. We will judge the capacity to merge in the platoon, and we will judge each individual vehicle on its platoon leader capabilities. Scoring, as we see things now, but those are open for the parallel session this afternoon to discuss in more detail, and we hope to get inputs from you there. The total time spent, the time it takes from the rear vehicle to overtake and actually get into its new position behind the lead vehicle. The capacity of traffic on the road. The additional space consumed by the 2 participant vehicles on the road. If they are on platooning distance, on the optimal platooning distance, they use the least asphalt. If they are not stable or always to avoid instability at a larger distance, they are not optimizing the road usage. So there is the road usage and the stability, which we will measure, and we'll get a score on. And then we will come up with a judging formula. With the judging formula, we'll have parameters for each of these elements, and we have to agree that we put the right weights on the right elements, and that we have a common understanding on which weights, why we put weights on certain elements, and that we all have the same challenge. The judging of the human factor aspects. Does the driver have sufficient situational awareness, especially for the overtaking maneuver, because there he needs to merge himself, he needs to make that lateral move in and out of the platoon. Isn't there information overload, visual distraction, and is there sufficient trust in the system? As Nico already pointed out, that we as car owners are not very well in adapting to our handing over our control of our vehicles to a system. And there needs to be a clear view on the road. Although some of the cars can already drive autonomously, it's not a meaning that we have a big view in front of us. I need to speed up because Anton is already waving and doing all kinds of strange things in the rear. The HMI design aspect mentioned here, I'll just point through. Draft plan. What we've been working on the last months is how can we get a challenge in 2011 with increasing complexity in the different challenges, but making sure that all the participants, after meeting the first challenge, can enter the second challenge. Because we cannot do all in the pre-qualifications before the 2011 event. We will have a large number of participants here, and they will have to show that they can pass the increasing number of challenges. So we have 5. The first one is that the participant drives solely over the A270, and there he proves his ability to behave as a platoon leader and to adapt to all the information he receives from the roadside unit on speed limits, road blockages, and all the things that we can think of. The second one is that a single participant forms a platoon with the organization vehicle and follows the speed profile of this individual of the organization vehicle. The third one is that we have a mixed car platoon behind this organization vehicle, and that we will have the initial step in testing string capability of the participants. The fourth challenge that we have in mind is what we've been talking about now is string stability and the use of the asphalt. What we learned from our traffic experts is that there is 2 elements in the throughput on the road. Is if there is a shock wave, people come to a halt, to a stop, and it takes more time to leave from the stoppage, so the traffic jam. It takes more time to leave the traffic jam to start driving again than it takes time to enter people to the traffic jam. So the traffic jam in principle grows with the same density of traffic continuously. So what we need to do is on one side get people to start driving off more smoothly at the front of the traffic jam. The green light of platooning following the speed profile of a vehicle in front of you will help there. And the second element is that people do not rush into the traffic jam, but adapt smoothly to an existing traffic jam, and then will reduce speed ahead of time, and then they'll have to merge with a dynamic platoon already driving on in front. And the fifth is that the cars have to show that they can not only follow the speed profile of the platoon, but they can also actually merge during these activities. So that's the 5 challenges we have right now in mind. And the last challenge, to visualize it again, there is this activity, loop-wise, all these participants will have to leave the platoon, request to enter the platoon, and we think that we then have, for a market introduction, if there is a single lane available for cooperative driving, then we can not only drive cooperatively on the lane, but we can also have people entering and leaving this lane, and as such we have a full implementation proven in the challenge. Time-wise, I think I have to leave it right here, and then we'll save the other slides for this afternoon session in the parallel session. Is there